He tried to give us a flavour of how powerful this bomb was. And really, no words can describe it. Pictures from the BBC of an explosion from a bomb outside a taxi in front of the BBC television centre.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can you please stay calm? Can everyone please stop making their way towards the exit and going in an orderly manner to the right side, please? Everybody inside. Stay inside. Stay inside. Actually, saying that, I think we're quite safe in here, so you'll want to watch the fireworks outside a little bit earlier for bonfire night, I think you'll agree. Can everyone please...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Step away from the windows towards the bar. Do not leave the bar. Step towards the bar in an orderly manner. Step towards the bar. Do not leave.
Okay, once again, can you please step away from the window? Away from the window. Everybody back away from the window. Thank you. Once again, please not attempt to exit Townhouse this evening. You'll be safe inside, but can you please stop making your way? Move towards the bar, please, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, can you please start following the gentleman signalling over here, please?
Reports are just coming in of an explosion at Liverpool Street Station here in London.
On that old gate, I can confirm a bomb damage to train, one carriage completely wiped out, at least 9 people very seriously injured and trapped, 2 confirmed fatalities.
So there was this explosion, white, big white, appeared, and then it was just smoke everywhere in the tunnel. We was trying to close the doors because it was just smoke, you couldn't breathe.
Everyone's just asking what's happened. All we're being told is it's a major incident and the whole of the London Underground is now shut.
Sorry, we've got a major incident here. Sorry, can we move off the road?
We're now also hearing that there have been further incidents at Russell Square. Now, British Transport Police are saying that a power surge caused the incidents, some of which caused explosions.
Excuse me, please. And literally, there was just a very loud bang. The train derailed. There was smoke everywhere. There's a lot of serious injuries down there as well. A lot of serious head injuries.
And that she's on the tube somewhere, and that she's at Russell Square, but no one's really telling us anything at the moment. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens. It's just the not knowing, the phones are down.
There are 2 trains stuck in tunnels at Edgware Road, and it's not known if they've collided or whether passengers remain on board.
Everyone thought they were going to die. People started saying prayers, praying to God, panicking, breaking the carriage windows with their bare hands, anything to get oxygen into the carriage.
You started listening to the people shouting on the carriage that blew up, and there was this awful screaming of people like just help, 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 and it's just indescribable.
We're now hearing reports that a bus has been ripped apart in an explosion in central London.
One man has actually shown myself some footage that he recorded on his mobile phone of a bus exploding a few streets away, just near to Euston Station, people lying on the floor.
All of London's transport is currently disabled or stopped, whether that's buses or trains. So the safest thing that everybody can do is to stay where they are.
There is a suggestion that the explosion on the bus in Tavistock Square was caused by a suicide bomber. If they are confirmed, then that would be the first suicide bomber to have struck in the United Kingdom.
Our determination to defend our values and our way of life is greater than their determination to cause death and destruction to innocent people in a desire to impose extremism on the world.
People walking home, unable to use tubes or buses. But what was striking was the calmness of the crowds on the day that London suffered.
December 21st, 1988. In a few short, violent moments, 270 people died. 11 of the victims were killed on the ground in Lockerbie when debris from Pan Am 103 rained down on their streets and homes. The aircraft, luggage and bodies were scattered over a wide area. People from 21 countries filled these coffins. 189 of them were American. The investigation that started at this massive crime scene led investigators to two suspects, Libyan men, Abdel Basset Ali al-Megrahi and Al-Amin Khalifa Fima. Libya refused to hand them over until 1999. A year later, their trial began at a special Scottish court sitting in the Netherlands. They were accused of being Libyan intelligence agents and planting a bomb in a suitcase on the doomed flight. The prosecution's case was circumstantial. It was strong enough to convict Megrahi, but his co-accused walked free. Megrahi was sentenced to life in a Scottish prison. He appealed the conviction, but lost. After the Lockerbie trial, relations between Libya's President Gaddafi and the world began to warm. Libya paid compensation to the families of Lockerbie victims and accepted responsibility for the bombing. It abandoned its nuclear weapons program. Libya was considered open for international trade and diplomacy. In 2007, British Prime Minister Tony Blair met President Gaddafi and agreed to establish a prisoner transfer agreement, or PTA, between the two countries. Blair initially insisted it wouldn't include Megrahi. At that time, oil company BP also negotiated with Libya for permission to search for oil reserves off Libya's coast. But that exploration deal and the PTA were held up by one issue, Megrahi. Libya insisted he be eligible for transfer to a prison in his own country. BP lobbied the British government to secure the PTA so its deal could also go ahead, but says it never mentioned Megrahi. Eventually, Britain backed down, agreeing to a prisoner transfer deal without exceptions. In late 2008, Megrahi was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. He still said he was innocent and began fighting a second appeal, but he dropped that action in August in 2009 to focus on two other options. He applied for a transfer to a Libyan prison, and he asked for a compassionate release. On August 20th, 2009, Scottish Justice Secretary Kenny MacAskill announced Megrahi's transfer application was rejected. But he would be freed on compassionate grounds because doctors estimated he had only 3 months to live.
He is going to die.
That same day, Megrahi boarded a plane for Libya and returned home to cheering crowds. In the days following, he was seen looking weak and unwell. 1 year later, the Libyan government says he is still alive, but very sick. Phil Black, CNN, London.
We are learning more about the suspects in those failed terror attacks in Glasgow and London. The investigation now is focused on the medical community, with the arrests of at least 5 physicians and a medical student. Many of the men had worked together at hospitals in Scotland or England. One of those is Mohammed Asha, seen here in home video. He was arrested on a highway Saturday along with his wife. Asha worked at a hospital in central England. His family is denying he had any involvement with terrorists. In Australia, a 27-year-old doctor from India was arrested at Brisbane's International Airport. Investigators say Mohammed Hanif was trying to board a flight with a one-way ticket. Hanif lived in this apartment and worked at a hospital in England. The driver of the Jeep that rammed into Glasgow's airport terminal has been identified in several news outlets as Khalid Ahmed, also a doctor. Police won't confirm that, but will say the badly burned man remains in the hospital under armed guard. A passenger in that same Jeep, Bilal Abdullah, was a doctor working at a hospital in Scotland. A cab company released an audio tape of a man believed to be Abdullah calling for a taxi to take him to the airport.
What's your name? Abdul. Abdul, going to the airport? Yes, the airport. The airport, about 10 minutes, okay? Okay, wonderful, thank you.
In the midst of the increased security at all British airports, one of the terminals at Heathrow was evacuated after a suspicious bag was found. All European flights were cancelled. Thousands of passengers and employees waited out in the car park. Britain's security threat level has been set at critical since 2 car bombs were found in London on Friday and an airport in Scotland was attacked on Saturday. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
A woman has been charged with the attempted murder of Labour MP Stephen Timms, who's in hospital recovering from stab wounds he sustained during a constituency surgery. The former Treasury Minister was stabbed in the stomach on Friday in Newham in East London. 21-year-old Roshanara Chowdhury will appear before Stratford Magistrates Court on Monday. Fellow Labour MP Stephen Pound has paid this tribute.
One of the most decent, gentle and loved members of the House of Commons. He hasn't got an enemy in the place. And this is a guy who would go the extra mile for any constituent and then go another mile on top of that.
These words have been backed up by Mr Timms' constituents.
He's fantastic. He's a good MP. You know, he's done a lot for me. I can't understand it.
It was very, very sad news because he wrote to me on Wednesday to thanks me because he was re-elected with a big majority.
Actually, he's been around my house doing things for me, sorting things out, so he's not a bad bloke.
Mr Timms is recovering at the Royal London Hospital, where doctors say he's expected to return home over the next few days. Poignantly, he's spoken out against knife crime and is an incredibly popular MP, recently winning 70% of the vote in the general election.
Of the 2 suspects in this attack, a separate video of the man we believe to be the victim, an active duty soldier. This, and I want to get this exactly right. This is video, we believe, of one of the 2 suspects. This would actually, in fact, confirm the story of one of our eyewitnesses, Michael Adley, who said he saw 2 men injured in a police shootout in the immediate aftermath of the attack, who described them as black men. This is one of the 2 suspects, one of the 2 individuals who allegedly attacked this British Army soldier. Now let's take a look at the second video that we have.
Amateur video footage obtained by ITV News appears to show the arrest of a man in relation to the murder of Labour MP Joe Cox in Birstall, West Yorkshire this afternoon. Surrounded by police, the man in the video appears to have a head wound, and officers can be seen wrapping his head in a white bandage. A small stream of blood is visible on the road behind him. West Yorkshire police say they arrested a 52-year-old man close to where the MP was attacked this afternoon. Joe Cox died after being shot a number of times and then set upon with a knife. The suspect has been named locally as Tommy Mayer, who's lived in the area for more than 30 years. Neighbours have described him as a quiet but polite man who kept to himself. Police say they're not looking for anyone else in
Oh my god. What's going on? What just happened? What's going on? Oh my god!
Bring it on.
No way!
Yeah, I was just outside Borough Market and I just saw suddenly loads of people run away from the market, and there was people lying on the ground, and there was a taxi driver who had his sort of window down. He was really shouting at people to run. We ran for like 100 metres, and then sort of loads of police cars turned up, and there was kind of a period of quite intense gunfire. I hid in a restaurant basement for about an hour, and then we were down there for quite a while. The police told us to get out, and then there was more gunfire, I'd say, pretty much as soon as we left the building. So we've been down there for about another half an hour, and then they've just evacuated us now. So
We saw people running, saying, "Run! You need to run!" People getting stabbed. So we jumped in the nearest car. So, we saw a body on the floor. Lots of people around it. We came up to London Bridge, and then we saw two pedestrians on the bridge, and police telling us to run. We need to run to the other side, north of the river.
How many people did you see on the ground?
Two. The first one, obviously 3 altogether. And then we saw someone actually right there, actually covered in blood with shorts covered in blood.
Leaving a mosque after Ramadan prayers. The driver was seized by onlookers, demanding to know why he had brought terror to North London.
What he done was he actually came on the bus lane. If you look at the road, there's a bus lane. So he actually came on the bus lane and then he took a sharp left where he actually went on top of the people. He actually ran them over.
This was a man driving a van?
Van, yes.
A white van?
A van, yeah.
And from what you saw, he veered off the bus lane.
On the bus, he was on the bus
targeting
lane.
people who were leaving the mosque.
Yes, he was leaving the mosque. But what it was about 2 minutes away from the mosque. If you look at it, it's next to a cafe. He turned left, and then all I can just see is people getting hit.
Specialist medical trauma teams arrived to a scene of devastation. A number of people lay injured where they had been mown down. There were several casualties, and witnesses said some had sustained serious injuries.
I was looking around in the corner up there, seeing the man, they're holding him, and people keep coming with him, going inside, out. And a man underneath the fan, as soon as before I ran, he's bleeding up there. And I think this man chose in this area because there's a lot of Muslims in the area and they do midnight prayer.
The attacker's identity has not been made public. We only know his age. He's 48 years old. There were reports this morning that up to 3 men had taken part in this attack, but police say they only have the one suspect and they don't think anyone else was involved in the attack itself. And the only reason they're able to speak to this suspect is because of an extraordinary intervention. It was the Imam of the mosque who protected the attacker from angry worshippers until police arrived.
The Imam had actually said to people, stop hitting him, and said, look, just hold him down, and called the police, and that's what was basically done.
This is being treated as a terrorist attack, and the Counter-Terrorism Command is investigating. This was an attack on London and all Londoners, and we should all stand together against extremists, whatever their cause.
Community leaders have urged people to stay calm.
We have 8 witnesses saying that the guy who did what he did, the driver of the van, said, I did my bit, which means he's not mentally ill. This person was conscious. He did what he did deliberately to hit and kill as many Muslims as possible.
The government has been heavily criticised for lacking empathy after the Grenfell fire tragedy. This response couldn't be more different. Community Secretary Sajid Javid comforting a young woman who told him she was scared.
Not just as a Muslim community, but as a community, we fear for our lives. I fear for my son as a mother to even send him to school. This is what it's come to. I don't feel that there's any kind of compassion coming our way, maybe on a screen. Is it really coming our way? No.
So this is still like... So this is still light, by the way.
Oh, is that bag's on fire?
Yeah.
There is literally a ring of steel and concrete around Parliament which stopped today's attack in its tracks. This barrier is designed to withstand a lorry travelling at speed. This Ford Fiesta stood no chance of smashing through the security perimeter. Since last year's attack on Westminster Bridge, barriers have now been extended to pavements on nearby bridges, making it much harder for terrorists to plough into crowds of people.
Well, these barriers were put in after the Westminster attack.
Chris Phillips is the former Detective Chief Inspector who was in charge of putting much of the extra security in place in public places.
We've had lots of other protective security measures in place before that, and these are a great example. They're chorus bi-steel barges, and they're designed to stop vehicles at very high speeds, and they'll stop them dead so that they cannot get into the area that you're trying to protect.
This morning's attack happened at 7:37 during the busy rush hour. The silver Ford Fiesta was travelling west along Abingdon Street when it sharply swerved left into oncoming traffic, crashing into several cyclists. The driver then sped up, crossing into this slip road before crashing into the security barrier outside the House of Lords. It was only a few hundred metres from last year's terror attack when 5 people, including a police officer, were killed. Like today's attack, last year's involved a car being used to mow down people. Then there were calls to tighten security and close roads around Parliament. Today some experts were again pointing out the vulnerabilities.
The proximity of this road is very serious in relation to the Houses of Parliament because any sized vehicle bomb will inflict damage regardless of those barriers.
One solution would be to stop all traffic from passing in front of Parliament.
It's always an ongoing issue for the Speaker and the Deputy Speakers to look at how Parliament and our democracy is protected. And I suspect it will open the debate as to whether Parliament Square should be pedestrianised.
But the cost and disruption would be huge, and it might only serve to shift the location of any future attack rather than prevent it.
America, death to Trump, Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! The flag! Going to bomb the flag! Death to America, death to Trump! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Oh my God.
Sit down. The flag! Going to bomb the flag! Death to America, death to Trump! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Oh my God.
Sit down.
A London Luton to Glasgow flight was met by police following reports of a disruptive passenger that necessitated crew and passenger intervention. The EasyJet aircraft declared an emergency alert during its approach to Glasgow Airport after witnesses reported concerning behaviour from a male traveller.
The flag! Going to bomb the flag! Death to America, death to Trump! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Oh my God.
Sit down. Don't move.
Multiple passengers captured video showing the individual making alarming statements near the rear of the cabin, including phrases that raised security concerns among those on board. The situation escalated quickly before fellow travellers and flight crews successfully restrained the individual using approved safety protocols. Upon landing, Police Scotland officers immediately boarded the aircraft and took the suspect into custody for questioning. Aviation security experts emphasise that such incidents, while unsettling, represent extremely rare occurrences in commercial air travel, with all UK airlines maintaining rigorous safety training and response procedures. EasyJet confirmed the incident in a statement, praising the professional response of both crew and passengers while acknowledging the distress such events can cause. The airline has made counselling services available to affected travellers and is cooperating fully with the ongoing law enforcement investigation. Authorities stress that the swift containment of the situation demonstrates the effectiveness of current aviation security measures, from crew training to passenger awareness. The investigation continues as officials work to determine the exact circumstances and motivations behind the individual's behaviour during the flight.